guys, it is a new week of vlogs. Today's Saturday, not Friday. We didn't get started yesterday, but we are started today, or I shouldn't say we, it's me. You guys have me this week. Brian is away on a business trip. We'll share with you where he's at when he gets back. But anyway, for this week, you will be with me. And this morning, I'm gonna try making a different kind of pancakes than what I made last week. They're still gluten-free. I made the birch benders last week. As I mentioned, to me, they don't taste exactly like pancakes. They're good, but they're not exactly like pancakes. A friend of mine who's also gluten-free shared with me a recipe, and I'm not gonna link it below. YouTube's changed the rules about links, and I just don't wanna link anymore to external websites, but I'll tell you how to find it if you're interested. It's Paleo OMG is the website. So search on that and then search on Greek yogurt pancakes. And there's no Greek yogurt actually. It's actually, well, I guess it is, but it's almond yogurt that is called for in the recipe. So I'm gonna try making this so it's dairy-free as well as gluten-free. I'm gonna try making this morning and see how they taste compared to the birch benders that I made last weekend. If you want the details on how to make it, I definitely recommend looking at the recipe that I mentioned. But these are the basic ingredients, and almond milk, which is not pictured here. And she recommends this Kite Hill almond yogurt. And I didn't see it in plain, so I bought vanilla. I figured that would be fine because you add vanilla to it anyway. So very excited to try these. This has been very easy. You just basically mix all the wet ingredients, all the dry ingredients, then you pour the wet into the dry, and then you've got pancake batter. Pancakes are in, and the blueberry compote is started here, and I didn't have the lemon for it, so it's not going to quite be the same thing, but it'll be close enough. Got the fresh blueberries. And I want to know, in the comments, leave below, are you guys clean as you go? Or do you wait till you're totally done and then clean? If I have a moment as I'm cooking, I clean. I just can't help it. I hate having like a ton of pans left over. And so anytime I'm waiting, like right now where I'm sort of waiting on things to cook, I just keep cleaning. Here's a tip from me to you. Even when they don't look ready to turn, they are. I've turned the eye down now, but I did not leave these very long on one side, and they were still feeling liquidy, so I didn't think they were ready to flip, and obviously they were. This one's definitely a little past, they look darker on the camera than they do in person. They're actually not that burnt. Like these two I can definitely eat. This one I'm not so sure. It might be scorched. I can tell already looking at them, they rise better than the birch benders, and they also look, if I hadn't overcooked them, they look better. They look more like a traditional pancake. And the blueberry compote is already ready to go. I'm just waiting on the pancakes. I took a tiny little bite off that scorched one, the one that's the darkest, and it actually doesn't taste bad, thankfully. I'm doing round 2 now, so I turned the eye completely off and let the pan cool. I hope this eye is not breaking if you saw last week's vlog like the other one, but I watched it and it doesn't seem to be staying on all the time, so I don't think that's the problem. And by the way, this is a half batch. I halved the recipe because I always like to try a recipe once before I make a lot of it. And so this makes 6 pancakes, so that's a lot. I'm gonna freeze some of these. Second batch turned out much better, and you definitely need to flip them way before they look like they're ready to flip, which makes them kind of hard to flip because they're still liquidy-ish on the top, but they turned out perfect this time. And here's the final product with the compote. And yes, I am gonna eat these because, like I said, I ate that little bite right there and it really didn't taste bad. So it would be prettier if I hadn't scorched them a little, but I think it'll still be tasty. It's taken me over 2 weekends. I think it's been three sessions. I finally got our master closet cleaned out. I'm not gonna show it because it still doesn't look that great because it's so packed. We have the tiniest, I don't even know how you call it. Well, you can walk in it, so I guess it's technically a walk-in, but it is so small, especially for 2 people. And what's really funny, I will actually go show you our shoes. Brian says I have a lot of shoes. The reason I find that so humorous is I don't wear dress shoes at all. I have one pair. I have one pair of dress shoes, and I wear sneakers or hikers or something like that all the time to work, everywhere I go. So yes, I have multiple pairs of sneakers, but that's it. So I just laughed when he said that. I was like, I have to put this out in the vlog. So leave a comment if you think I have a lot of shoes. I'll show you which ones are mine and which ones are his. But we finally got the closet pretty much in order. He cleaned out 2, and we ended up with 2 giant bags to donate and some trash as well, just stuff that's like too far gone to donate, like old shoes and stuff. But anyway, it feels good to have it cleaned out because, like I said, it's so tiny, we don't really have room for any kind of excess, but it's amazing how much stuff we pulled out of it. Here are our shoes. This is both Brian's shoes and my shoes. So I just wanted to show you what he thinks is a lot of shoes. I've got the first 2 pairs on the top row, and then a dress pair, I know they're hard to see, but a dress pair further over. So 3 pairs top row, 1 pair on the second row, this pair to the far right here, and 1 pair, that pair down there, on the last row. And he declared that I have a lot of shoes. If my math's good, I think he has more shoes than I do. I decided to clean the fridge this morning since I had tons of time before I can go do anything since I got up so early. And also because Brian is out of town, our fridge has less stuff in it than normal because he didn't do grocery shopping for this week for himself. And so it looks so much cleaner now. And I used to clean the fridge, you know, pretty often. But since we don't have cats anymore, it stays clean a lot longer, but it was definitely in need of a good scrub. Now that I've finished cleaning the fridge, I am actually going to go and test drive cars. This is something Brian has no interest in. It's my car that we're replacing. He does drive my car when we go on trips because he has a Jeep Wrangler, which is not practical for long road trips. But I need to at least narrow it down. I really don't know what I want. I'm primarily looking at Subarus and Hondas, and I do want to keep an SUV. My old Jeep SUV has been good. It's got 203,000 miles, but Jeeps tend to ride a little bouncier than I like. So I'm hoping, I've heard that the Subaru and the Hondas, since they ride kind of low to the ground, are not as bumpy. So I'm going to go test drive, see if I like them. I'm not sure how much, if at all, I'll be able to film while I'm doing this because it's going to look weird to whip out a camera and start filming. I'm definitely not going to film while I'm test driving because I need to concentrate. And then I don't know how much I'll be able to film while I'm actually at the dealership, but I'll see if I can get any footage. So the Crosstrek is the main one that I am interested in, but I'm also hoping to test drive a Forester and an Outback. Stopped on the way home from the dealers to get some lunch. They kept me way longer than I expected. I will give you a full recap in a minute, but I'm going to do a video conference with Brian first. All right, I thought I'd come up here to the YouTube studio to talk about my experience with the test driving the cars today. I haven't done that in years, so my Jeep that I drive is from the early 2000s, has 230,000 miles on it, so it's old. So I haven't test drove a car in obviously like 15 years. And I have to say the experience is incredibly tiring. The first place I went to was a Subaru dealership, and they were actually wonderful. I have no complaints. The second place I went to was Honda dealership. They definitely had sort of a hold you hostage, try to close the deal. I mean, they weren't rude, don't get me wrong. They were super nice, super polite, but like they took my keys to give me, what do you call it, a value for trade-in for my car. I mean, that was their excuse for taking my keys, but then my keys just kind of disappeared, so I couldn't leave. I mean, yes, I could have thrown a fit and said, give me my keys, I'm leaving, but you know, the guy was nice, and you know, I know he's trying to do his job, so I didn't want to be rude, but I was there entirely too long. Like, I was gone 4 hours, and more than half of that was at Honda. Like, it was so slow. And also, as soon as I drove the Honda, I realized I definitely want the Subaru. So I also just didn't even want to stay there. Maybe they could sense that, but I did what I came for. I knew what I wanted. Brian would probably say I should have been more assertive and been like, I'm done, I don't want this, bye. But, you know, like I said, I know he's trying to do his job, so I was just trying to be polite. It was just painful. It was painful for me. I didn't like their sales tactics, because then they had a manager come out and say, hey, are we just a few $100s off? And I'm like, you're not anything off. I said, I'm not buying anything today. I mean, I was pretty clear up front. I just wanted to test drive, that's it. Just wanted to test drive. Subaru, they totally treated me at my word, meaning he wasn't pushy at all. He just let me test drive, answered any questions I had, and then said, hey, call me when you're ready to buy. Like, totally appreciate that, super nice. So it's kind of ironic. I mean, at least I like the Subaru better because I'd rather go give that guy my money than give the Honda dealership my money, because I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Anyway, I've settled on the Honda, here we go. The Subaru Outback. I test drove the Subaru Crosstrek, and the Subaru Outback, and I sat in a Subaru Forester and immediately didn't like it, so I just didn't want to waste the guy's time test driving it because it just did not fit my body well. To get close enough to the pedals, I felt like I was sitting in the dash, whereas in both the Crosstrek and the Outback, I felt totally comfortable, so I could tell immediately the Forester wasn't going to work for me. I also test drove the Honda CR-V. It was already sort of at the bottom of my list, but I wanted to at least compare something to the Subaru. I didn't want to only drive the Subaru, and it did help in that I feel very confident now I definitely want the Subaru. I mean, so it was worth it. Yesterday we booked our first cruise ever. First cruise ever. We have tried to book a cruise so many times, and we even booked one time and canceled it. There's like a 24-hour period you can cancel cruises with no penalty. And we waffle for multiple reasons, and I'm not gonna talk about all of them because it would just take too long. I've had gluten concerns. Yes, I know most of them are wonderful, but when you start getting into the specifics, sometimes it got confusing. And also times have changed. I mean, there's a lot more gluten-free stuff now on all the cruise lines than there used to be. And then also, Brian doesn't like dressing up. Well, neither of us do, really, but especially Brian. Brian gets motion sick. He's never been on a boat before out on the ocean. Just so many reasons that we've like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're not gonna do this, we're gonna do it, we're not gonna do it. So finally we bit the bullet, and I know not all of you follow us on Twitter, but we put out a Twitter poll, well, not a poll, but a question asking about what's your favorite cruise line, why do you like it, and all that. We got some great responses. As I expected, we got tons of Disney. And we got a lot of Royal Caribbean because I think those are probably the two most popular cruise lines. I could be wrong, but I think they are. But we got the surprising response that we got repeatedly was how great Celebrity was. And once we dug into it ourselves, it looks like the best fit for us for multiple reasons. Smoke-free casino, tend to kind of cater to an older child-free clientele. It's not to say they can't handle children, it's just that that's not their specialty. We're older without children, so that's great for us. They looked like they had really fun things, like they have one of those kind of silent dance party rave things where you wear the headphones. They looked like they had some fun entertainment. They looked like they had a ton of specialty bars, which looked fun. It just looked like the best fit for us. You know, everyone is an individual and has their different tastes, but it looked like a great fit for us. And they are DynaWare certified, so they have a lot of food allergy training under their belts. So it just felt comfortable, it felt good. And they had a great cruise on the dates that we wanted, which we will announce at a future time. We'll also go over details of our itinerary, but it's a Caribbean cruise. At a future time we get closer to the trip because it's still a few months out. But we are so excited, and we are still going to Disney this year, don't worry, that's not changing. We're just adding the cruise as an extra fun thing to do this year, and I'm like super excited about it. So if you've cruised on Celebrity and you have any information, oh, by the way, we're cruising on the Equinox, that's the boat. If you have any information you'd like to share, any feedback, if we're doing the Caribbean, let's see, we're doing Puerto Rico, Tortola, St. Thomas, and Nassau. So if you have any feedback specifically on Celebrity for excursions on those locations that you've done, we would definitely love to hear about that because the number of excursions is a bit overwhelming. So if you have had personal experience on Celebrity cruises at those locations with excursions, we'd love to hear all about that. Any recommendations. I know I want to snorkel at least one location, so if you know which one of those is the best, I think it's between Tortola and St. Thomas, but if you have a different opinion, definitely love to hear that. But we'll see what we end up doing. My uncle used to live in Jamaica for 7 years, so I have been to the Caribbean before for a couple of different long trips, and I've also snorkeled before, so I know what that is and I know what's involved. But I've never been to another Caribbean island besides Jamaica, so I'm super, super excited to go. And Brian has never been to the Caribbean because I went before we were married. So very, very, very excited to go on this trip, and hopefully Brian won't get seasick. People have already given us tips on that, and we appreciate that on social media, you know, ways to avoid that. And we did book midship, which we've heard is better for that. So, okay, now I think for reals, this is it for Saturday, and I will be back with you tomorrow. Good morning, it's Sunday morning, and I've already had a kind of busy morning, and I went out this morning. It was warm when I left. Now it's like cooled off substantially. It was 60 this morning. I think it's in the low 50s now, and raining, and it was sunny this morning when I left. And then it's supposed to be like in the teens tonight, so it's one of those weird days where all day it's gonna get colder. I'm going out with some friends for lunch today, and it's supposed to be, I think, in the 40s by then. So really, really, really weird weather today. This morning I'm gonna make my lunch salads, get those done. Had to take the, this is a part of Brian not being there, he spoils me. I had to take the trash out to the curb, which I've already done. So it's kind of funny, like the things you take for granted. So thanks, Brian. If you ever see this, you probably won't, but if you do, thank you for doing all those things that I just totally forget about and don't have to worry about. And I don't know what else the day will bring. I know I need to do more video editing. I still don't have tomorrow's weekly vlog, which will be a week in the past when you watch this, edited. Nor do I decided to break the GoPro footage all separately, and that will be in, I think, it'll be before this comes out, I guess. Yeah, it'll be before this comes out. It'll be Friday before this video comes out. So if you're interested in that, I decided to pull it out separate because even without the GoPro footage, last week's weekly vlog was really long and I didn't want it to go like super, super long. Also, that way, if you're not super into cameras or photography, then that's not in the weekly vlog, at least not much of it. My work salads are done for the week. And I was hoping to have time to make a berry crumble, but I'm running out of time to meet my friends. I don't think I have enough time because it takes a while to bake, and I'm meeting friends for lunch. Hey guys, I am back from an awesome lunch with my friends. I have a group of friends that I've had for most since high school or middle school. I think even a couple all the way back to kindergarten. And we've kept in touch over the years, and we get together every so often. We used to try to do it every month. Life's busy and crazy, and so we don't always do it every month, but it's been a while since I've seen them, and I think it was my fault the last couple of times, and so amazing to spend lunch with them and catch up and hear what's going on with everybody. It's good for the soul. And you would think, looking outside, and you can tell how windy it is because my pillows have blown over, you'd think this would be a beautiful day to sit outside, but no. It started at 60 this morning. It's already down to 49 or 48 now, and it's only 2:30, so it's definitely going to get really cold tonight, no doubt about it. And like you can tell by my pillows, I know it doesn't look windy now, but it's like that gusty wind that kind of comes and goes. Hey guys, it's Wednesday, and my neighbors are gonna think I'm crazy. Some of them are outside, so it looks like I'm talking to myself, I'm sure, but I got it. I got a Subaru Outback, and I am super excited, so excited. I haven't had a new car in 15 years, and so I am really, really glad to have it, and it drives like a dream. I love it. Here's a view of the interior. What's really nice is the screen here does like 5 million things. I haven't even figured everything out yet. It has the adaptive cruise control where it'll keep you a certain car length behind other cars. It has the lane adjust if you start drifting out of your lane. It's pretty cool. Here's the back seat. In typical Carmen fashion, I already have junk in the car, and actually that big thing on the back seat, that's actually a sunshade. It came with that, but I think I may replace it with a smaller version. I like the little circular ones that you can fold up and put between your seats because this takes up a lot of real estate. That's as small as it gets. And then I went to the grocery store, so I've already got some stuff in here, but here's the back. I like this little hide your stuff thing, and I know it's probably hard to see because it's dark in here, but I did get the upgraded back of the seat protectors for when we're at the beach and we throw a bunch of sandy stuff, so it's the same sort of plastic that matches this to protect the back of the seats. This little guy here's name is Ping Dog. Brian named him, and he named him that because he thinks he looks kind of like a penguin, but I think he is indeed a dog. And sorry he's so dirty, but he's old. Brian won him for me in a claw machine at Myrtle Beach many, many years ago. He's just always lived in my cars. And so I found him a little home here in the back seat because we probably won't even have anyone sitting in the back seat, so he can just hang out here in the door. When I cleaned out my Jeep, I found these buttons, and these are actually the old buttons. If you remember, they changed styles and made them more generic, and the cast members started writing what it was on here instead of it already saying. So these are sort of classic buttons, so it was fun to find them. Here's one of the new style that I was talking about where they write in, you know, either happy anniversary or they write how many years you've been together or whatever. So this is the more genericized version. In other fun news, we got some really cool mail from Southwest. By the way, if you fly Southwest, be sure you sign up for the Rapid Rewards program and then also go in and opt in for the drink coupons if you want them, because you are not opted in by default. You have to opt in. I'm actually heading outside to take photos of my GoPro because I need that for the thumbnail for the video that's going to come out probably Friday if I can get it done. I'm still not finished, but it's gorgeous. I just had to come say that. We've had 2 nights in the teens degrees, and now today it's in the upper 60s. Just typical North Carolina winter. You never know. Ever wanted to know what a GoPro camera photo shoot looks like? Here it is. Also, I almost left this on my Jeep. The sales guy at the Subaru dealership actually said, hey, here's your Mickey ears. What's sad is my Subaru does not have an antenna because it's all built in. And so I'm gonna see if Brian wants this for his Jeep. If not, I guess that's the end of this. And you know, I would say give it to someone, but it's kind of old. I mean, it's weathered, but it's been good. Hey guys, it is Thursday. I came outside to the screen porch because it's almost 70 degrees. It feels amazing. I was gonna chat with you guys. Something is making a weird noise. I looked over the rail here and something popped its head back down in that hole right there in that tree. I don't know what it was. I couldn't see it fast enough. So I'm trying to wait and see if it comes back. There it is. I still don't know what it is. If you guys know, leave it in the comments. I really don't know. It's kind of creepy looking. What are you? I know it's gonna get shaky, guys, but I want to zoom way in because maybe I'll be able to tell in the footage. Could it be a squirrel? It's awfully low to the ground to be a squirrel, but maybe it is. Keep hoping he'll come out, but he's just sitting there. If you're wondering how I knew it was there, it was making this, like, it sounded like a human was down there, which, you know, would kind of freak me out since Brian's not here and our backyard's pretty private. I just heard all this noise. So I looked over and then I heard that chirping. And then I finally saw it like duck back in the hole. But this was after I went down the stairs and looked around because I was trying to make sure no one was down here. It was funny that it was making that much noise. I think that was it digging that hole. Like, I'm sure the tree already had a hole, but you can tell something has dug on it. I'll go down and look at it up close, but I don't want to scare it right now because, I mean, I don't know what it is, number one. I think it's a squirrel looking at its head, but it's hard to tell. And it's also odd behavior for a squirrel. I mean, it's a beautiful day today. It's almost 70. And so why is he in a hole in the ground? Like, that's not squirrel behavior. So I don't know if it is a squirrel. And even if it is, I don't know if something is wrong with him. So I'm not going to go down there now, but maybe another day I'll peep down and take a closer look. But that was interesting. That was not what I was expecting. I was just going to come out here and relax in the nice warm weather and talk to you guys. So, as you know, Thursday is the last day of the weekly vlog, and I want to do sort of a wrap up for the week because it's been a crazy week. It really has. So, just to give you background, I knew I was going to get a new car. It was just a matter of time. I knew I wanted to get one sometime in probably the first quarter of this year. We'd already sort of talked about it and decided on that. However, I really had no intention of doing it while Brian was out of town. I did intend to test drive with him out of town. It would just seem like a good use of the time. I knew we wouldn't be traveling. I knew I'd have the time on my hands. So it seemed like a good time to get that over with because he had zero interest in doing that. He said, yeah, go figure out what you want, drive what you want, you know, figure it out. The reason I ended up doing it like right away, the offer that they have from the manufacturer was, there was an offer that was only good this month. And so, I mean, that didn't matter who I bought it from. It was just something that was across the board. And that is why I rushed. Because I was afraid, you know, if they had to look around to get the color I wanted or the type I wanted. I thought it might take till the end of the month because, you know, there's not that much time left. There's only one more week in the month. And so that's why I was hurrying, but it just was one of those wonderful magical things where they happened to get exactly what I wanted the day that I made my mind up to go forward. So that was pretty cool. And yes, I did of course talk to Brian, even though he's not here, before I bought it. And he was like, yeah, go and get it. But wow, did that happen fast. I mean, I seriously, that was not planned to happen that fast. Like, I thought I'd wait till Brian got back and then we'd talk about it some, and you know, who knows, I don't know. But I will say I'm glad it's over with. So I am going to wrap up this week's weekly vlog, but stay tuned. Tomorrow's Friday, which will start a new week of vlogs, and I don't think I'll be buying any new cars that week, but I'm sure something interesting will happen. As always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Until our next adventure.